So Easter comes, and since I don't recognize the authority of the Easter Bunny, I just assume it's going to be my day to get some website stuff done, eat some fucking candy, and enjoy myself. And no, he brings me a cold and makes me want to kill myself. Daryl here, and feeling significantly better than last week. So I want to catch up on the highlights of the last 2 weeks, get me back in the swing of things. I have a second podcast coming this Saturday with a specific topic in mind, and that topic being bands that release albums that change your mind, for better or worse. You know, bands that you liked that released terrible albums that you hated, or bands that you didn't really like that all of a sudden release an album that makes you a believer. But let me jump right into it. Best reviews of the last couple weeks. We'll start off in Canada. These guys from Calgary, the name of the band is Moradin, and this is some interesting post-black metal, very melodic. Really enjoyed the EP. The EP is called Awakening. There isn't much I can say for it other than if you like the evolution of black metal over the last couple years, the infusion of a lot of melody, the infusion of great musicianship. It's not just all raw recording and horrible production values. Now there's a lot of other things going on. And this band, Moradin, reminded me a lot of Alcest, bands like An Autumn for Crippled Children, in that they really did their own thing. They weren't just content to sit back and just do it the way it's been done before. So I suggest you go on their Bandcamp page, moradin.bandcamp.com, and check out their new EP, because I think you're actually really going to like it. Really going to like it. Now, as far as liking things, Brian wrote a review last week, well, I guess it's now a week and a half ago, for the new Avantasia album. Now, this is an interesting thought process here. I wasn't sure if he was going to love it, hate it, be in the middle, but he loved it. Gave the album a 10 out of 10. Now, I'm going to admit, I haven't listened to it yet. I've been busy with other things, but while he notes that the album doesn't really redefine anything, the Scarecrow redefined the way I looked at power metal, to be honest. But the new album, The Mystery of Time, is just as good. It just absolutely blows it out of the water. I'm looking forward to digesting that one and seeing what Tobias Sammet put out this time, because he doesn't seem to be able to really screw things up. I didn't love The Wicked Symphony and Angel of Babylon. Didn't love them. I liked them just fine, but I didn't love them. So I'm hoping that this album brings back the love. And I like that the album cover kind of looks like it should be a Blind Guardian album. It makes me feel kind of good about the promise being made here. Now, a separate thought process here is telling history through metal, something that I had a chance to experience with the newest EP by a band called Myrkgrav, who are from Norway, despite the fact that originally my review said Finland, and I did apologize to Lars Jensen, the man behind the band, for getting that wrong. I guess he currently lives in Finland, and I just had my information wrong. And I always feel bad about that, because I consider myself to be a perfectionist in that way, and that I try to get everything right, the members, the location, what it's about, and I kind of messed that up. But anyway, telling the history of Norway through folk-inspired black metal, I guess would be the best way to say it. Really great album. I think he did a tremendous job. The vocals are a highlight here, so definitely check out the EP. I'm not going to say the name of it to insult anyone more than I might have done, but you should give it a shot, because I think you will like that one as well. If you're into anything folk related, I think that this one will tickle your fancy just fine. Then they had the big release of 2 weeks ago now, is the new album from Intronaut. The album is called Habitual Levitations, Instilling Words with Tones, which I thought to be a kind of pretentious name, but I've been a fan of Intronaut for a while, and I really, there used to be a really heavy sludge type band, and I really, really enjoy their previous work, so I was looking forward to this one, I'm not going to lie. And when they released the first single, Milk Leg, I liked the song, hated the name, but I was looking forward to the album nonetheless. I can only compare this to the last album from Baroness, in that it's a band who's typically been very, very heavy, doing something a little more melodic and expansive, I guess would be the right word. Clean vocals, psychedelic melodies. I mean, it was a fucking trip. It absolutely blew my mind, and I think it's kind of redefined where this band is right now. And I don't know if this is where they're going to go with everything, but if they maintain the level of excellence that they did here, the musicianship, the songwriting process, I think this is going to be an album of the year contender, and I think that this could be a band that does amazing things from here on out. And they've never gotten the praise that they deserve, so maybe this album will help to bring that to them. But as I noted in the review, much like Baroness, you're going to have the fans who are going to go, fuck, you guys really nailed it. And then you're going to have the fans who are going to say, you know, fuck, what are you guys doing? And we all need people to grow, and I think bands need to grow. You don't want to do the same thing forever, unless you're AC/DC, which I've noted many times. So hopefully this will be the start of something great. Speaking of the start of something great, I reviewed the new EP from the band Soliloquium, which is a mouthful to say, but I enjoy getting emails from bands, which we do quite a bit. You know, we're averaging something like 50 a week. You know, bands sending us their stuff, labels, you know, stuff that they want us to review. So get the email from Stefan Nordstrom, who is he's the guitarist and vocalist of Soliloquium, and I was apprehensive at first because the Death Doom genre has not really been very bright lately. I can't remember the last Death Doom album that I was really into. You know, some of the Titans seem to have gone into hiding. I mean, Draconian, don't know what's going on there. Not very many updates to their itinerary lately. So when all of your favorite bands kind of go away, that style kind of went away with it. And I haven't found myself really in the mood to listen to it. But the new EP by Soliloquium, which is titled The Concept of Escape, I think reawakened that desire in me to listen to that style of music. I mean, there's some great melodies, there's some catchy hooks in there, but this is some serious death metal, doom metal merged. And I can't say enough about what they did here. I mean, I guess it's technically a demo, but it's an EP, whatever you want to call it. The Concept of Escape is worth your ears and everyone else's. So check them out on soliloquium.bandcamp.com, and definitely see what the fuss is about here, because I think they're doing a great job. And it is a free download, so there's really no real reason you should not do that. So check it out. The last one I wanted to mention in this installment is a band who will come up again later in the week when we talk about the bands who proved you wrong or surprised you. And this is not in the case of a band that I hated that suddenly I like, but it deserves mention that when I looked at the album artwork and the synopsis for the album by Windrunners, which is a band from Odessa in the Ukraine, I was not really thinking I was going to get very much from it. It kind of looks like almost one of those disposable death metal bands that you would find on some blog somewhere, maybe like this one, and you would just kind of go, yeah, whatever, it is what it is, and you'd listen to it once and throw it away. But in actuality, it's an interesting mix of power metal and thrash metal, some of which reminded me of Megadeth, which I thought was a big surprise. There are parts in the vocal lines where I can hear Dave Mustaine loud and clear, and I think that that's interesting, nonetheless. But when you get into the album deeper, it really is a power thrash album. There's some amazing guitar work, there's some great melodies, there's some really gritty vocal parts. The percussion is absolutely fucking off the hook. The album itself is great. It's titled Undead, and I think that it's another case of that, don't judge a book by its cover. And the band surprised me. They really did. And now I can say, that this is an album I'll be picking up and I will be listening to consistently, because I just really like what they did with it. So definitely check out Windrunners. They are on the label, I believe it's Metalism is the name of the label. You should check them out. They actually have an interesting stable of bands, which I actually want to mention. I don't know how many other reviews we're going to do of Metalism bands, but there's what's the name of the band? Mysteria, I believe is the name of the band. It's a symphonic metal project, female fronted. Also very, very good and very, very interesting. So check out that label. They really seem to have something good going on. But anyway, that's going to be all for now. I'll be back later in the week with a talk about bands that have surprised me. It'll be more of a recent talk, talking about the band The Howling Void, as well as the new album from the band Ghost, which my review of will go up shortly, but I want to discuss that one a little bit. So I'll be back later in the week. Until then, check out all the albums we mentioned. Make sure you get on their Bandcamp sites, their Facebook sites, give them a like, throw them a couple bucks, whatever you want to do. Support the music the best you can. And remember, we do have our sampler on sale. Still trying to clean out the last of those. sorroweternal.bandcamp.com. Price is now $3 for the disc, plus shipping, or $2 for the digital download. So make sure you check it out. Thanks, guys, and see you next week.